What struck me the most coming out of the last recession was that the law was so far behind other sectors in its approach to people and business management. The world has changed considerably since then, as has the sector's understanding of law as a business. Technology has meant that for most of us, we can continue our work at home, and the understanding of human needs in the workplace has come to the fore. With that in mind, I would say that some of the key lessons are, firstly, effective, honest communication. No one has all the answers right now, but communicating updates throughout the business and explaining the rationale behind decisions is imperative. Most of us realise that we're in uncharted territory and that as a business, everyone will need to work together for the greater good. You can never communicate too much in times of need, and it's important that everyone, partners, fee earners and support, are kept fully informed. Secondly, strong and empathetic leadership. It seems almost unthinkable now, but there were firms in 2008 and 2012 who expected employees to take pay cuts or work reduced hours for reduced pay while the partners did not. And in some instances, there were firms whose partners took lump sums before announcing swathes of redundancies. Remembering those situations, it's fantastic to see that in 2020, a number of firms have announced that the partners will take pay cuts of up to 20% and that this money is being reinvested into the business to ring-fence jobs. And finally, good people and business management. In the last 10 to 15 years, it's been brilliant to see key business management concepts implemented across the legal sector. Emphasis has been placed on value-based cultures, and the understanding of the human side of running a business has had a significant positive impact on the profession. With us all now forced to work from home, in isolation from our colleagues, it's fundamentally important that businesses remain in constant contact with their employees and encourage them to utilise all avenues of communication available to maintain morale. What we saw as a result of the credit crunch was not just as a result of underhiring. There were a number of firms who froze traineeships, suspended them, or did not put any trainees through the transactional departments for 2 or 3 years. So there was a period when we weren't seeing any new lawyers come through. The question is, how can a business manage the changing workflow, keep existing lawyers, and train new ones if there's not enough work in a department to sustain them? One potential part to that answer is through the diversification that came about as a direct result of the 2008 dip. There were many firms whose business models were fairly narrow, so what we've seen in the last decade is a significant trend towards diversifying offerings, be that through growth or merger, and thereby mitigating some of the risks of one or more revenue streams falling behind. This diversification is enabling many firms to forecast sustainable overall revenue levels for the next quarter, give or take, in spite of certain departments experiencing a reduction in turnover. This is allowing them, where possible, to redeploy employees while still retaining their skill set in-house. A second potential part to that answer lies in the nature of the current situation. This situation feels very different to the credit crunch of 2008. At that time, a number of financial institutions had or were about to collapse. Lending had stopped and there was no confidence in the market. Today, we don't have that element. Yes, the transactional work has slowed down or stopped coming in, but confidence in business remains. And when we begin to come out of this, it's highly likely that there will be organisations that move to take advantage of the opportunities, kickstarting the economy and the transactional side of practice. So one would hope and expect that firms will move, where possible, to retain a reasonable number of lawyers in their transactional departments. And, as the author of this question highlighted, there are still many people in the transactional teams that understand that the effects of the last recession are still being felt today.